Dear viewers, good evening and welcome. We pushed the Chinese back in Doklam. Yes, it took us 73 days, but we moved our guns and our troops, and China had to return to barracks. So I want to begin tonight by saying that have no doubt, because in Ladakh too, the Chinese have been stalled. And the Chinese are going to be pushed back, gently or brutally as they choose. But never forget two things, my dear viewers. Never forget two things. That after the Indian army pushed back the Chinese in Doklam, after we won, Rahul Baba, who was having secret meetings along with his sister and top Congress leader Robert Vadra, after those meetings in a five-star hotel in Delhi, the Congress attacked the Indian army and solidly backed the Chinese army by officially saying, and I quote, "The truth is that the Chinese are still in Doklam," when the Chinese were no longer there. I'm not surprised at this anti-national position of the Vadra Congress because it's a history of the Vadra family. Sonia Gandhi and Tonia Maino will not like it. But Rahul Baba's great-grandfather, Nehru, had also supported the Chinese by first making a mess in 1962. And then as the Chinese army was rolling down close to Assam, he said, helplessly, like a coward, he said, "My heart goes out to the people of Assam." Effectively, he was giving up the Northeast to China. He was just giving up, willing to give up. This family and this party has been known to compromise national security all the time. And the reason I'm saying this tonight is because as Prime Minister Modi plans a hard-hitting counter to the Chinese and plays the global cards, and as we all prepare to defeat the Chinese designs again, unsurprisingly, the Vadras and their cohorts are once again supporting the Chinese, fairly blatantly. So viewers, at the start I want to tell you, yesterday I said we must remain united, and today I'd say we must be all very wary, very, very wary of the enemy within. And that's debate number one tonight, the enemy within. Debate number one on those who are compromising India's stand. Believe me, they would never do that with Italy. Debate number two, no takers for Imran's rant. And debate number three this evening, viewers. On debate number three, I have more proof of the Maha-COVID mess under the incompetent government in Maharashtra. All this and more is coming up, and here are the headlines this Wednesday evening on the Debate Tonight.
नरेंद्र मोदी के भारत को कोई भी आंख नहीं दिखा सकता। फिर कहूंगा, नरेंद्र मोदी जी के भारत को कोई आंख नहीं दिखा सकता।
India asserts its position on Ladakh with a sharp diplomatic and military strategy.
President Xi Jinping, in his letter, pointed out that China-India relations are now standing at a new starting point.
China gets the message, is forced to soften its stand by saying the situation is stable and controllable. US President Donald Trump wades into the India-China standoff by offering arbitration. The Vadra Congress predictably compromises India's stand, wants national security strategy to be made public. Imran Khan has scrambled egg on his face. His rant on the India-China standoff gets no single taker.
इनको लेके नहीं चाह रहे हैं। यहाँ पे भी डेड बॉडी रखी है, इनको लेके नहीं जा रहे। केम हॉस्पिटल है, यहाँ पे डेड बॉडी है, ये भी डेड बॉडी है।
And Maharashtra goes from bad to worse. The proof of the COVID mess is on tape tonight. The incompetent Maharashtra government cannot stop Republic from reporting the truth. My dear viewers, what transpired in the last 48 hours after the Prime Minister's intervention has not just cemented India's diplomatic prowess in the world, but has truly signaled a change in the way India will engage with the world. The fact that China has climbed down on Ladakh and Donald Trump has waded in with his own mediation offer tells a larger story of India's emerging global role and our growing strength and prowess in the world community. Tonight, while the country feels stronger with the Modi government's stunning diplomatic victory, the Vadra Congress, along with their loyal partners in the lobby, are in deep sulk. Let's debate.
A standoff at the line of actual control that saw Indian and Chinese troops engage in an eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation seems to have de-escalated after over 2 weeks because of India's strong diplomatic messaging and uncompromising military strategy.
नरेंद्र मोदी के भारत को कोई भी आंख नहीं दिखा सकता। फिर कहूंगा, नरेंद्र मोदी जी के भारत को कोई आंख नहीं दिखा सकता।
With Prime Minister Modi personally taking stock of the situation, chairing 3 out of 5 key security meetings in the last 48 hours, things seem to have changed completely. These 2 statements from China are an indication of how our Doklam-like strategy has triumphed once again.
President Xi Jinping, in his letter, pointed out that China-India relations are now standing at a new starting point and facing new opportunities. And Prime Minister Modi said the 2 countries should strengthen coordination and solidarity and address global challenges together.
Interestingly, US President Donald Trump has also waded in with a mediation offer. It's not the first time. In a tweet, Trump confirmed that he has informed both India and China that US is ready and willing to mediate or arbitrate the border dispute. But considering the high-pitched battle between United States and China over COVID-19, India is yet to issue an official response on the proposal.
What is important is that the 2 statements that have come in the last 24 hours, one from Beijing attributed to official media, which said that the situation is stable and under control, which essentially, if you understand Chinese diplomatic language, it essentially means that the Chinese do not want to escalate it further.
But amid the global diplomatic developments, the Vadra Congress has done what it does best: politicized and picked sides. Which side, it's anyone's guess.
नेपाल में क्या हुआ, किस प्रकार हुआ, क्यों हुआ, लद्दाख में क्या हो रहा है, किस प्रकार हो रहा है, ट्रांसपेरेंसी होनी चाहिए, क्लियरली उनको सरकार को बताना चाहिए। वो ट्रांसपेरेंसी नहीं दिख रही है।
The Dhokalam scriptwriters now want the government to make public details regarding national security and border security. Members of the lobby going a step further, dragging in RSS to trivialize India's diplomatic efforts and mocking forces standing up to PLA troops. While India's diplomatic efforts have led to de-escalation, those who aid the enemy for narrow political gains stand exposed once again. Let's debate.
Viewers, in popular parlance, what used to be the Congress is now called, as we all know, and we are all aware, Saurabh, it is now called the Vadra Congress. Rightly so, because the large majority of the leaders in the Congress party are now Vadras, so it's the Vadra Congress. But the popular parlance in the future, Brigadier Anil Gupta, will be China Congress, because the party has aligned itself to Beijing. Now, I have every right to ask, is there a pecuniary reason why? Does the Vadra Congress get paid by China? Is there some obligation? Otherwise, the level of obsequiousness and servility that the Vadra family shows towards the Chinese, I'm telling you, General Bakshi, is positively embarrassing. My first question tonight, viewers, and please freely use the phrase China Congress to make it trend tonight so that we can, in the course of the next few days, repeatedly refer to them as the China Congress. My first question is tonight, why does one want to create mistrust and panic? When there is a conflict-like situation, and nobody is denying, Saurabh is opening the debate, that there is a conflict-like situation, any patriot should say, let's unite. However, almost on the instructions of the Chinese, the Congress has done everything to create panic and mistrust so that the people of India don't have faith in their government. Therefore, they are saying things such as, and I quote, what's going on? Why is nobody telling us? What's happening at the border? Why is Narendra Modi not explaining what is being hidden from the people of India? Will our government clarify? Why is Trump talking about the situation? Why don't you tell us? The situation is a matter of serious national concern. Nepal is not wrong. Nepal is not being instructed by the Chinese. There's nothing wrong with the Chinese. This is exactly the same tone and tenor, a long introduction from my side, but I wanted to make my position clear. The same tone and tenor, and Saurabh will open the debate this evening with Nishant, is the same tone and tenor with which Congress stooge, sorry, let me explain, not Congress stooge, Vadra family loyalist, the perennially unsuccessful, predictably mediocre, and forever out of line and out of fashion, over the hill, Kapil Sibbal. He was the person who said, is international media reporting no proof of militant losses at Balakot pro-Pakistan? You are guilty of politicizing terror. So they bought the Pakistani line then. Now they are buying the Chinese line. They are saying the differing accounts in national and international media of the escalation has caused anxiety. Anxiety in whose mind? Robert Vadra's? Has his liver turned white? Worried with anxiety? This is an open attempt. I charge the Vadra Congress, sorry, China Congress. I charge the China Congress of trying to create panic and mistrust towards the government in this country and towards the armed forces. Saurabh and Nishant, sorry for the long introduction, please.
Arnab, quick points. Number one, at a time when the entire world is united against China because of what happened, because of the Chinese virus that has come out to haunt the world, COVID-19, this is the time when the entire country has to unite behind the government. At a time when our defense forces are facing the Chinese military on the line of actual control, and at the time when the government is working overtime with the Prime Minister taking the lead. The Congress and every opposition party need to be standing with the government. That's what people do. That's what leaders do. National security, foreign affairs is about standing together, especially at a time of a global crisis, national crisis. It's unfortunate that this is not happening with the Congress party. Somebody needs to be advising Rahul Gandhi correctly. What is the message that is going to the people of India at a time when everyone in the country should be standing behind the government? Yes, there are time of opposition, but this is not the right time. This is not the time that you take, pick holes in whatever the government is doing. And I'll tell you the backstory. Why is Donald Trump talking about mediation today? The reason is because of a strident Indian diplomacy. Because he's worried that this is India, this is a new India, which will not buckle down under Chinese pressure. It will take them on. The problem is people in India who are trying to profiteer out of this. There are still people in India who are trying to profiteer, getting things out of China, getting brownie points out of China time and again. They are the people who need to be called out, and this is the time when Everyone in the country needs to stand up
Nishant,
against China and the
Nishant,
Chinese tactics. They're
Nishant.
putting these pressure tactics
Nishant,
because of the fact they are cornered on the COVID-19.
the hashtag
Arnab,
for tonight,
that's the reason why they're putting this pressure on India.
I repeat, the hashtag for tonight is China Congress. And may I underscore one very important point, because before I bring Nishant into the debate, we will not at this stage speak about the lily-livered Nehru's position on China. The lily-livered Nehru's multiple compromises, inability to defend national security, we will pick it up in a few minutes. Now Nishant is responding to the situation. Listen, Nishant, trying to create anxiety. We are in deep anxiety. Who's in anxiety, man? Is General Bakshi in anxiety? No, he looks relaxed. He seems to have had his dinner. Is Anil Gupta in anxiety? He's in Jammu, closer to Ladakh than you are. He's fine. Are you doing fine, Brigadier Gupta? But Congress party said India is in anxiety. Are you anxious, Anil Gupta? Or is the Vadra Congress anxious? Are you anxious?
Yes, they are.
I'm not anxious. I'm very confident in my government.
Thank you.
I'm confident in my forces. Nishant, you have nothing to say? China Congress viewers is the hashtag tonight.
The whole
China
nation is
Congress.
anxious.
China Congress.
The answer is in two folds.
People are anxious
If
when
you
the
allow
borders
me,
are tense.
I did not interrupt. I did not interrupt anyone. May I speak? Okay. There are two-fold answers. Number one, while you and many feel that China and Congress are hand in hand, only because 2012 Manmohan Singh set a trade goal of $100 billion between India and China, I'll tell you who fulfilled his dreams. It was Narendra Modi, because in 2018 and 2019, the trade between India and China peaked 92.5 and 95.7 US dollar
no
billion
argument
US dollar.
tonight?
So thanks Mr. Modi
You
for
have lost the
fulfilling
debate at
Manmohan
the
Singh
start.
government, because you are sleeping in bed with China. Now let's go to the aggression point. Let me please complete. कुछ भी नहीं है, ये facts है. ठीक है. Number two, we all know that the LAC, the line of actual
Why are you
control,
supporting the Chinese?
has a problem. Please
Should
let
we
me complete,
change
sir.
the name of the Congress
Am
now
I
to
supporting or is
Alibaba
Mr.
Congress?
Modi?
Maybe
Am
we
I
should change the
supporting or
name
Mr.
from
Modi?
China to Alibaba
Who did-
Congress.
who
Maybe
did
there's a
the-
Chinese
who
corporate
did the
angle here.
Dhokla diplomacy? Tell me what was Dhokla
Alibaba
diplomacy.
Congress, you think it's a good idea?
You tell me who is fulfilling the
Or
dreams of
Jinping
Manmohan
Congress?
Singh. It is Narendra Modi sleeping in bed with China and making sure that India and China trade grows. And when it comes to the LAC, imagine in 2019 the transactions
General
spiked by
Bakshi, on the
75%,
debate.
and this year in the first 4 months it has gone up. Let me complete. Let the country know that how Mr. Modi
You are
is
reading
cheating this country.
You have been
Let
given
me
some
talk,
points
please.
by
Now
Kapil
let's
Sibal,
come.
it seems.
Now let's come.
They are so
on the
badly
Modi
written,
and
they could
Xi
only have
meeting
come from
in
Kapil
Wuhan.
Sibal.
Please let me speak. Let you, bhaiya.
The points you've written, I just was wondering, the points you've written out sound so bad. Only someone with the competence of Kapil Sibal could have written
This
it.
is not fair. Arnab, this is not fair.
sir,
This is not fair for the country. The nation wants to know certain facts. General
Nation
Saab,
is
give me
fine.
15
We have
seconds
heard you
and
very
then you may
patiently,
please.
sir.
Modi and Xi met in Wuhan on April 2018. They instructed their militaries for various things in order to make sure that there is no escalation. I would like to ask General Bipin Rawat, retired, that you were the army chief in April 2018 and today you are the CDS. Why did you not obey the Prime Minister's orders of making sure that the two militaries work together and no escalation? It is your fault, General retired Bipin Rawat, that today
For
we
God's
stand
sake, this is
here.
too much.
General Bakshi is on the debate right now. I don't want to shout. I have a sore throat.
No,
Relax.
this is not too
Now,
much.
sir,
This is
General
a fact.
Bakshi.
Sir, will you give me
What
the
do you mean
courtesy
by
of
too much?
replying
This
to
is a
you?
fact. So
General
nothing-
Bakshi.
Now, will you give me the courtesy of replying to you? This is an amazing accusation against the Chief of the Defence Staff. A very worthy, a very respectable officer.
General Bakshi is on the
Placing
who is where he is because of his merit and his operational competence. He has taken a stand. It
can't
is
hear
his
General
job.
Bakshi.
To protect this country. It is his job. Look, sir, I did not disturb you. Can you kindly give me the courtesy of
So what
listening?
did he do? Why
Thank
did he
you.
disobey?
Thank you.
Why did he disobey?
No, why are you heckling now? No, you were asking for silence.
What has he done?
Now can you kindly be silent for some time and hear the other viewpoint? There are viewpoints other than yours. Please listen to them. You know, Arnab, China is a nation under siege mentality. On the issue of COVID pandemic, they have been hounded by the whole world as the source of the COVID epidemic, as something which has caused. Can I please finish? Can I please finish? Did I disturb you? Did I interrupt? No, did I interrupt? Look at this man. Look at his, when he wants to speak, he wants silence. Can't you give it to others? No, can't you give it to others? We heard you speaking utter nonsense. Can't you give it to others? Some bloody piece of quiet to conduct a dignified debate.
Thank you, viewers. 1 minute.
So Arnab, can you please ask him to stop his rant?
Third warning. Third warning. Please wait. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Indeed. Arnab, as I was saying, China is a nation under siege, and paradoxically, it is acting unnaturally aggressive on almost all fronts. It started with Malaysia over the oil rig that they had put in the South China Sea, and the Americans had to come in to save the Malaysian Petronas. It sank the fishing boat of the Vietnamese, right? Then it started holding major exercises against Taiwan. Then it pushed in its, ships into the Senkaku Islands of Japan. It has suddenly switched its attention from the month of May onwards to the Chinese border. We know the incident of second May. Can I please? No, Arnab, can I please ask him to reciprocate in the way that he wanted others to do when he was
about the LAC.
Thank you.
You are going
Thank
to
you.
China, Malaysia.
So therefore, and I'm coming to the LC. If you let me talk. Arnab, thereafter, on the 2nd of May, they faced the first incident of the Panam.
पता नहीं कहाँ घूमने चले गए आप?
I mean, look at this man. Have you lost your mind? Are you a psychotic? Are you a nervous wreck? Are you a nervous wreck? So what's your problem?
Don't tell about
What's
yourself.
your problem?
Don't tell about yourself.
Why can't you listen to somebody else? I'm telling you, Arnab.
आप बताइए जनरल बिपिन रावत को जो इंस्ट्रक्शन से फुलफिल नहीं हुए.
Arnab, I'm saying that the Chinese staged very violent incidents against India in the Pangongso Lake and in Nakula. They were responded in kind because our troops have to defend the territory that they hold. Right? That is Indian territory. It is not negotiable. It is not negotiable. The Prime Minister said that we should try and resolve it peacefully, but if the other side takes up sticks which are wrapped up in barbed wire, concertina,
everyone on the screen, please, thank you. Let's move on to
hit
others.
you, to hit
yes,
our boys, to hit yourself.
I'd like to, may I please, General Bakshi, may I take the debate forward? Because we've stayed stuck with Nishant for a while. Nishant, 1 minute. Now my point is, Brigadier Anil Gupta is on the debate with Professor B.R. Deepak. I have found many people asking me tonight, Brigadier Gupta, why are you using the hashtag China Congress? Because I believe we need to call out people who are servile, meek, sycophantic, not just sympathetic towards China. Professor B.R. Deepak is from JNU, from the Center of Chinese and Southeast Asian Studies. Professor B.R. Deepak, things have changed since you first started studying China. The most fundamental change, in my view, has been the fact that India is able to checkmate China. We checkmated them in Doklam, and we have effectively checkmated them in Ladakh. Isn't this something to celebrate?
I think we need to correct our understanding about history. The way we have written our own history about, for example, I'll give you one example of Galwan Post, which India created before 1962 war. And India didn't know what happened to this post, but a Chinese scholar, because I know Chinese, I read Chinese, and there is a book called The Snow of the Himalayas. So he points in that book that in 1982, 874 bodies of Chinese soldiers were brought from this area by a Gari region all the way to Urumqi. So that means even during that time, we did reply Chinese with force, and we did reply them the best, the way we should have been. I think these are the facts we should be telling our people, which are not known. Even if China took some of the prisoners, it was only after these prisoners they returned back from this sector I'm talking about, the specific post in Galwan, that we came to know that out of 68 people who were deployed there, only 30 could come back. So that means with a small force, we did teach Chinese a lesson. I think our forces need to be celebrated for that. We need to commend our forces for that. I think we didn't surrender that way. So that is one point. And second thing, I would like to say that yes, things have changed drastically on Chinese side also, and on Indian front also. And I think why China is pained, because we have been catching up as far as infrastructure is concerned, border infrastructure is concerned, because they had the free run all up to now. And this is because our ramping up the infrastructure along the line of actual control, we are making these very points accessible to our forces. And that is where the China is, concerned about. And this is because of this that they have been talking either of demilitarization of the entire border, or occupying or altering the present status quo, if the reports are to be believed.
Precisely.
In fact, I see Professor Stobden there.
Yeah, Professor Stobden is also there.
Professor Saran's reports are to be believed. And I think, yes.
It's called China Congress. And thereafter,
first of all, I want to compliment Professor B.R. Deepak before you come in. I want to compliment Professor B.R. Deepak for the fantastic anecdotes that he gave, which put the situation in China in good perspective. And I want to say to you, Professor Deepak, what I draw from the points that you have raised here today, and I would love to read translations of those books if they are aware and available sometimes, is that,
thank you, Professor.
So I mean it honestly, is that, you see, we are in a situation today, Brigadier Gupta, we are in a situation to get China to climb down, right? Now, therefore, one more line and then I hand it over to you. Therefore, I feel we always need to be very circumspect about the Congress party, which at a time when we are putting together a strategic infrastructure, as he said, infrastructure, people, arms, battalions, brigades if required, when we are putting all this on the ground to create a narrative of unnecessary anxiety in India. Say, we are worried. Oh, China is going to take us over. Oh, situation is very bad. Oh, why does Prime Minister Modi not talk to us? Prime Minister Modi, I'm sure, along with the entire security leadership, is sorting out the situation. And Prime Minister Modi, Brigadier Gupta, is the same person who showed the political will for 73 days, eyeball to eyeball contact, confrontation with the Chinese. He refused to be browbeaten by China. You see, conflict also requires strength of character and strength of leadership, which the Prime Minister showed, which is why I'm calling the Congress today a China Congress, because what they are doing is actively supporting the enemy. Brigadier Gupta.
Arnab, I'll answer all your questions. Firstly, let me tell the professor that the company which was there was the company of the Gokha regiment. It's recorded in our history also. Yes, the thing you are given, the 863 figure you are given is not there, but the valiant fight given by that company at Galwan is recorded in our history. It was before the November attack of the Chinese. It was somewhere in the month of March, April. Now coming on to China Congress. Arnab, what Congress did at Doklam, but Rahul Gandhi and his party did at Doklam, thereafter there was no doubt it was China Congress. Congress believes in a saying, enemies, enemies, your enemy. And that is why they befriend China and Pakistan. in doing that, they failed to understand that
Party which was in power
in doing that,
when Galwan took place.
in their anxiety to oppose the national government, they are opposing the nation. Because China and Pakistan are India's enemies.
Nobody is opposing the nation. It is the duty of the opposition to question the government.
From Modi haters, you become India haters. That's the point Brigadier Gupta is making. From Modi haters, you become India haters. That's the point the Brigadier is making. Please continue. China Congress viewers, let the Brigadier continue. Let the Brigadier, I want to hear the Brigadier. Stop your cacophony. Reduce his volume. Brigadier, continue, unimpeded.
After Mahabalipuram informal summit, Prime Minister Modi said that every difference should not be treated as a dispute. And that is where the leadership comes. You see, he wants to create an adversity into an opportunity, which he did at Doklam, which is going to do here at Ladakh also. But problem is that a party like Congress could not even convert a victory in 71 into an opportunity. And you know, the consequence of that we are facing even today.
I think some excellent points being made on the debate.
Coming on to the question of transparency in national security. It is not the day-to-day functioning of the government that they want transparency.
Correct. Absolutely.
National security is not a matter of public debate. They are mistaken. Now coming on to Nishant's point, what General Vipin Rawat has done, Mr. Nishant, you are a politician. You don't know what Mr. General Rawat has done. General Rawat has strengthened our defense along the line of control. Today we have tanks. Today we have missiles. Today we have ALGs.
The truth
Today
will be
we have the
told.
latest of weaponry and technology.
I'd
Our
like-
mobilization, which was earlier restricted to 14 days, W plus 14, is reduced down to W plus 4.
I'd like Vivek, I just want to tell you one second please. You see, I am not an expert in diplomacy or China, but I'll make 2 points. Vivek, should you be so kind as to for a few minutes not shout, because you sound like a hollow vessel with nothing to contribute.
Australia and India both suffered.
Thank you.
122 countries went with such a weak draft,
Yeah.
and our Prime Minister went along without reading the contents of
You
the draft.
sound
which
as
was so weak
cantankerous.
that nothing can be done against
1
China.
minute. I'd like Ambassador
Just because
Stobden to
Mr.
come
Donald
in.
Trump wanted to say the
But
same,
before that, I
the
want to
United
pay you a
States of
compliment,
America, he
Vivek.
orchestrated an international
Vivek,
conspiracy,
before that, I want to
and
pay
we
you a
fell for it.
compliment. You sound as cantankerous. Ambassador Stobden on the left, please. Vivek sounds as cantankerous as a brass vessel pretending to be gold. But you're not even a brass vessel. You're not even copper. I won't embarrass you by telling you what kind of vessel you are.
India,
But you are
don't stand
certainly
for the
hollow.
weak foreign policy.
Now,
I don't
Ambassador
stand
Stobden.
for the weakness that Narendra Modi represents.
I-
We don't have a single friend in Asia. Asia में हिंदुस्तान
Chill, man.
का
Chill.
एक भी दोस्त नहीं है.
Chill.
Even Nepal is no longer your friend.
CHILL.
That is the failure of
Ambassador
the
Stobden on the debate right now.
Mr.
Ambassador
Narendra Modi have an
Stobden.
answer.
Ambassador Stobden, can you hear me? Because I think the picture froze, is it? Oops, I just froze. Let me go to Dr. Sriram Cholia in the meantime. And let's have a solid debate, Sriram. Yeah, go on,
India
Sriram.
has risen in the world in the last 6 years
Yeah,
to
go
a
on.
level that was not seen in decades. And as far as the foreign policy and the strategic deterrence that we have established goes, we are stronger today than was the case even 20 years ago. So we have made a lot of ground, we have covered a lot of ground, we are stronger today, Arnab.
Yes.
And these people are lying through their teeth. They have no knowledge of the ground situation along the LAC. They are simply flinging allegations which are totally baseless and which do not have any credibility behind them. And reading the Chinese strategy, Arnab, reading the Chinese mind and strategy is important, Arnab. The Chinese are...
Dr. Sriram Cholia, may I tell you one thing? May I tell you one thing? Sriram, first of all, Syed, stop. 1 second. We'll stop for a while. Take them off the screen for a while. 1 minute. I want to speak to you, viewers. Let's do this. Let's do this, Dr. Sriram Cholia. Dr. Sriram Cholia, let's do this. Let's do this way. Let us allow Syed Aslam, who believes he has a great and incisive point to make. Let him make his intervention. 1 minute, and then I'll get a counter from you. Please quench your thirst, Syed Aslam. You have 1 full minute. Quench your thirst.
We are all proud of our defense forces. There's no
let him complete his point. Let's hear one side.
They are committed to safeguard
for being able to manage this, major
problem.
Arnab,
we are proud of our defense forces. Our defense forces are committed to safeguard the territorial sovereignty of our nation. There is no doubt about it. However, today, the ruling BJP government, the diplomatic ties, the ruling BJP governments, India's ties with the neighbors are not good. You pick up any neighbor, the diplomatic ties are not good. We have strained relationship with China, we have strained relationship with Pakistan, we have aggression from Nepal.
The Pakistanis could not even conduct a SAARC summit because none of the remaining countries of SAARC were willing to even go to Islamabad to attend a summit. That's because we have influence and we have respect, and people see that who is on the right side of history. India is on the right side and the whole region is with us. SAARC -1, after coronavirus started, किस को मदद मिली है? Who all are receiving support from India?
Okay.
Each one of them will express gratitude for us.
Syed Aslam, I'd elevate the debate. Let's get Ambassador Stobden. Thank you. Ambassador Stobden will debate, and on the other side I shall have Nishant. Ambassador Stobden will complete his point. Ambassador Stobden, my question to you is, would it be fair to say, Ambassador Stobden, that we are in a position where we can move fast and not yet cede an inch? There are a lot of people in India today, Ambassador Stobden, who are trying to create a sense of paranoia about what is happening in Ladakh and about the Chinese claims in Sikkim, in Bhutan, their designs on Bhutan. In your view, how are we handling it? A. B. How do you see the things develop? C. How do you view Donald Trump's statement today, his offer of mediation? Does this queer the pitch or does this help us?
Okay, let me go one by one. Number one, this place where the dispute is now going on, it's a Galwan Valley. Galwan was an Indian territory for last 200, 300 years record. Mr. Rashid Galwan, on whose name this valley has been named, is still living in Leh. He's a friend of mine, his family. So there is no question that Galwan is not a Chinese name or it's a Uyghur name, it is a Ladakhi name. So therefore there is no dispute on the territory where we are now, there is standoff is going on. Now, I would say the biggest achievement today, I'm not interested in who will blink first, that's not the issue. Chinese will have to go back. There is no other way. Even if we have to fight a war, we will have to fight a war. The fact is that Narendra Modi government has been able to reopen after 1958 years the issue of Aksai Chin, which we have been sleeping, although we have been showing on our map. We've been stuck with the narrative of LAC. Now, I thought this is the biggest change that has happened. Even though the conflict has been started by the Chinese, the gain has to be Indian now. We have to reverse the narrative so that now, from now onwards, we don't stick to LAC, we have to move forward. I'm glad that India Meteorological Department has started showing the weather reports of Aksai Chin and others now from the 5th and 6th of May, including Gilgit-Baltistan and the rest, which are now part of Union Territory of Ladakh. I think this is the biggest shift. Now, as far as the conflict per se is concerned, now you just read the statement from the Chinese.
Please no intervention. Continue, Professor Stobden. Stop it, Syed Aslam. Sounding like a copper vessel once again. 1 minute. Continue, Professor Stobden.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, but
no, I'm sorry.
You know,
you need to accept the facts. You cannot get away from the facts, Arnab.
You have no. Please understand, Ambassador Stobden is an expert on the subject. He's throwing light on the issue, which you have shed nothing but a shadow.
No.
So allow him to complete. Thank you.
No. What the Chinese are saying today again, this is the latest video which is coming from Beijing by the Chinese television. It says that India seeks ways to divert its domestic pressure since its pandemic lockdown turned into a tragedy and hits the already slowing economy. And US is now more clear to use India as a pawn in supporting its foul play at China's border. India wants to taste the fantastic green tea this time. Now, such provocative language they're using from Beijing, I don't know why. But I thought today's development, the statement coming from the Chinese embassy in New Delhi, the Chinese spokesperson saying from Beijing, and I think there is a relationship with the tweet that Trump has sent, is that I think the back channel diplomacy is working now.
Will this work
You may say a lot of things the Chinese can say, all this kind of stuff.
Advantage? And
of course.
How?
After all, this government hard position on this Galwan standoff has shown that Americans will now have to say something.
Okay, so why do you call it a hard position? For follow-up question, why do you call it a hard position?
It's a very strong position. You saw the meeting, the meeting Prime Minister had with the cabinet and the other security heads. Is that we are not going to budge. We are not going to budge. Each and every inch of territory we will not leave. We will continue to construct our road and infrastructure along the Shayok Valley, including the Galwan Valley, where we have a bridge now built last year. We have spent 72 crore rupees.
That's going to be one second. Follow-up question.
Why should we be throwing that in the water?
Follow-up question. Okay, prophesize for me. Wait, Syed, and I'm asking a question. No, wait. Ambassador, tell me one thing. Let me put it to you.
Yeah.
Let me play devil's advocate, right? It's not going to be easy. You know how the Chinese are. They're going to use some other tactic. We're going to steer them back. Excellent. We have political will. We have building up infrastructure. We've got mobilization capacity. What are the Chinese likely to do is response? They will be looking hurt. What will they do? Read their mind for me. What will they do?
From the previous experience of such standoff at the LAC, the trend has been that I'm sure the problem is somewhere else. Maybe not in Galwan, maybe in Chumar, maybe in Demchok, somewhere, some other place, or maybe in Sikkim. Now, I think tomorrow they're going to come and say, look, I'm willing to retreat provided you remove that structure from there. And the structure would be some very, very small thing. You know, very insignificant
You're
thing
saying,
that we may have built
what
somewhere.
he's saying, Ambassador, one second, this is fantastic, everyone on. What he's saying is, General Bakshi, that the Chinese are going to look for a face saver. Is that what Ambassador Stockton is saying?
Yeah.
General Bakshi, you agree with that, General Bakshi? Wait a minute.
He's trying to say it in very diplomatic words.
Can I, Arnab, with your kind permission, this is a military question, a very pointed military question. Can I please answer this? Arnab, the Chinese strategic culture is to have one strategic direction at one time. Their primary focus now is on Taiwan, South China Sea. They do not want the diversity. So for the time being, Arnab, they will back down. They will come to a modus vivendi, a compromise, space-saving compromise, and possibly come back to it later. After they have resolved their issues.
No. Saurabh is debating right now. Syed, wait a minute. Saurabh, so let me backtrack from there. Let me backpedal from there. Saurabh, one line question. Saurabh will debate now. Saurabh will debate with Nishant.
Yes.
Calm down, everyone. This is a fantastic debate today. India's top trending debate, hashtag, is China Congress. Saurabh, 1 minute. Is it possible, therefore, I put two and two together because I'm just looking back at Doklam, right? You saw the beginning of Doklam, lasted 73 days. You know, throughout the Congress party, throughout Doklam was saying virtually, no, China has done this. Even in August 2018, 1 month after the Chinese had gone back, it had subsided, Rahul Gandhi said, no, the truth is Chinese are still in Doklam. So the Chinese have a different relationship with the Vadra Congress. Is it anticipating tough times ahead that the Chinese are using the Congress? Or are the Congress trying to build a relationship with China? What is their advantage? What do they gain?
First you decide
what do they gain?
Whether you have Chinese using the Congress or Pakistani.
You decide why the hashtag today is China Congress.
The Chinese are
China Congress.
China Congress like no one else. Chinese
Chinese required, you make it Pakistani Congress.
Lead the world in having a cyber, and they are unleashing that in India using political parties, using civil society groups, using some experts as well, because their idea is to create pressure, create domestic pressure on the Narendra Modi government. Their idea is to put government on a back foot at a time when the government... Sir, let me speak first. Sir, let me speak first and then you speak. Don't interrupt. Don't interrupt. Don't get your phony narrative out. Don't get your phony narrative out. Listen to the truth. The truth is the Chinese are working on a multi-pronged strategy to divide India. They're using opposition. They're using this cyber strategy. India has to be careful. This is where at times the opposition cannot fall in the Chinese trap. Whether the Congress or any other party, don't you get it? Chinese are cornered on a global arena. That's the reason why they're doing it. And people like
viewers,
you
1 minute. I'd like to once again remind you viewers. I'd like to remind you viewers. Brigadier Anil Gupta is next on the debate. I think some fantastic points made. Brigadier Anil Gupta with the remarkable Professor Deepak, who made some really good points at the start. Anil Gupta and Professor Deepak. I know that, I have a sense, by the way, let me tell you, Professor Deepak will stay away from all political issues. So I think we should not embarrass him by dragging him into those. He's made some good points at the start. But I'd request you, Professor, don't stay away from political issues. Politics is the firmament on which academics must play, right? The problem becomes, academics becomes the firmament sometimes on which politicians play. So you should not stay away from talking about politics. But before I come to you, Brigadier Anil Gupta, I watched with great interest how Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, Congress leader in Lok Sabha, had put out a tweet. He said, "Be careful, China. Indian forces know how to defang venomous snakes like you." Immediately a call went from, I am told, Sonia Gandhi, Antonia Maino's office, saying delete that tweet. Why did Sonia Gandhi ask her leader to delete a tweet that was very critical of the Chinese? These are questions, you know, and why are we, at a time when Imran Khan is talking about Indian expansionism, we should feel happy that Pakistanis are afraid of our possible expansionism rather than be defensive about it, right? Brigadier Gupta?
So the question is, as far as Sonia Gandhi is concerned, her loyalties do not lie with India. So therefore, anything which is pro-India or which praises the Indian forces, she cannot digest and openly say on your TV that she does not like India, and her statements are all anti-Indian. Her policy at heart, she hates India. Now, as far as there was a gentleman of the Congress, I don't know who is it, Mr. Khan, we are talking on WhatsApp, he was getting messages that were saying incursion has taken place on 3 places. Yes, gentlemen, it took place 3 places. Nakula, it was at the formation level, talks, and they went back. Only Gavlan persists. There's no, what you're calling the intrusion at PTSO is not intrusion at PTSO, because that area is held by us already. We have our posts in that area where the Chinese are supposed to have come. So it's not intrusion. So let me be very clear on that. Now, coming on to the taking on the Chinese, you see, like Professor Sadhan very clearly said, that China will have to fall back. After all, it's a very long LAC. We have our options. We have not closed our options. But then I have always maintained that to beat China, we don't have to fight him on the Himalayas, because he is stronger there. Chinese sensibilities and vulnerabilities lie somewhere else. See, his reaction in Ladakh is a response to his vulnerabilities. He is very scared of Akshay Chin, losing Akshay Chin. And that is why he has responded in the way he has responded. He's basically coming to Galwan is to cut off the road which we have built up to the DBO and the going on to Akshay Chin. So China has various vulnerabilities. And in our neighborhood, China's biggest vulnerability is the Indian Ocean.
But then why did they do this?
We can block China there. China, we can make China's life
what doesn't add up? What doesn't add up, and I'd like to go to Professor Deepak on this. What doesn't add up, Professor Deepak, is if the Chinese are not as strong, if they have vulnerabilities, and if, as someone said, I think it was Anil Gupta, that they might choose a face saver somewhere else. What was the reason for this? Was it linked to the fact that we put layers and questions over their free trade with India, that we said that Chinese investment will go through a layer of checks? Is it the post-corona, post-COVID world order in which they feel that if India starts acting tough on trade, it might become a role model for others across the world, like Australia, like Malaysia, to also start? So what was the reason for this slight adventurism in your view?
I think, first of all, as I have pointed out, it is their uneasiness with the kind of infrastructure we are building, So here, though I compliment, the BRO, but I think the time taken to complete these projects is extremely huge. I hope that these projects are concluded in time, and under Prime Minister Modi, they will be concluded in time. 61 more projects, so there are 60. In fact, this Dobak, Shok, and DBO road, it falls within those projects. I hope these are completed in time, possibly, by, say, within a couple of years. In fact, already time is pending, and especially the railway, the 4 railways, the very crucial railways, including one which goes through my state, Himachal. I come from Himachal. I hope they are built and are ready for operations by 2025. So that is one thing. So this has hit the Chinese, really, because they had a free ride so far, because they could do whatever, because we were not accessible. We were not accessing the LSE the way we could have. So this is one thing, and most important thing. And second thing, I think it is also related to the current developments which are going on post-COVID, we will say. Yes. And I would say the close proximity, our security rapprochement with the United States and like-minded people and other democracies in the region. The Quad is one of them, and then the Asia-Pacific strategy is one of them. Yes. So here again, though the point is well made, but I would see that there is no economic heft, Yes. And there need to be economic heft. There is no economic leadership for this, and there is no strategic, guidance for this unless the region is integrated economically. And I think then only the region will get and that will really
one last word,
on its tenterhooks, because after all.
One last point I want to go, because I've gone only once to Ambassador Stobden, who made some good points. I have just 1 minute, Ambassador Stobden. Who's jumped the gun in Ladakh? A. B. How do the people of Ladakh feel? C. Very briefly, how does China factor in the sentiments of the people of Ladakh?
Well, I think the feedback that I get, I'm sitting in Delhi right now. I'm planning to go to Leh next week. Hopefully I reach there. The feedback that I get from the villages along the border is that extremely scared of what is happening, and they've never seen in the last 4 or 5 decades like this. I was born around 60, I don't remember 1962 war, but my parents used to tell me that it was terrible. And this time, I think this is 10 times more. The tension is much higher now. People are scared because the agriculture season will be affected. The COVID issue is very serious there, because Ladakh had the first case of COVID-19 in March itself, because some pilgrimage came from Iran and it spread to some other places. So, and 3, the tourism has been completely killed. Not just because of Corona, but also if the border conflict continues, it's a touristic place and people may not turn up now, maybe the entire summer. That's the fear. But I think people of Ladakh are very, very confident. Our governor has just met the Prime Minister yesterday, and today also, perhaps the Defense Minister. People are confident, and they will fight along with the Indian Army like they have been in the past, whether 62 or 71 or 65.
Yes. Ambassador,
everywhere
Ambassador, it was refreshing to listen to all of you here today. I am sure that all the viewers of Republic go back feeling even stronger. And remember, viewers, forget the China Congress and the Vadra Congress and their paranoia. The bottom line is we have the edge. We have the upper hand in Ladakh now. I'll see you on the other side on debate number 2.